My name is Sarah George Mulgado, currently studying in Caraga State University, and a first year basic math student. Now I'm going to discuss my topic that is all about post-humanization education.
What is post-humanization education? It refers to the shift away from the traditional humanist educational models towards a more technology integrated, globally influenced, and economically driven system, and it reflects how digitalization, globalization, and neoliberal policies reshape learning, teaching, and knowledge itself. Post-humanization education basically means that education is changing a lot because of technology, global influences, and money driven ideas. And it's moving away from the old ways of teaching and learning. The K concept by Stefan Herberger, globalization and neoliberal influence. Education systems are pressured to conform to global benchmark to attract international students and businesses. The rise of knowledge transfer and lifelong learning reposition education as a market-driven service rather than a means of personal and intellectual development. Globalization and neoliberal ideas have pushed education system to become more alike worldwide, often focusing on competition and market needs rather than personal growth. Posthumanism versus transhumanism. Transhumanism seeks to enhance human through technology, aiming for transcendence beyond human limitations. Critical posthumanism, by contrast, deconstructs humanist assumptions and questions the implications of these transformations, rather than blindly embracing them. Transhumanism wants to use technology to make humans better, even beyond normal limits. Posthumanism is more critical, questioning these changes and what they mean for humanity instead of just accepting them. Posthumanism education. Posthumanism critiques traditional humanist values, which were historically Eurocentric and exclusionary. It recognizes a shift toward a post anthropocentric view, where humans are not the sole agent of change but exist with network of machines, environments, and other non human entities. Education must adapt to technology, advancement, and environmental changes that redefine human identity and learning methods. Post-humanism in education, it moves beyond traditional human-centered learning. It acknowledges that we're interconnected with technology and the environment, not separate from them. Instead of just reading about of the climate change in a textbook, student might use VR to experience melting glaciers firsthand and then collaborate with AI to analyze climate data. And it blends human understanding with tech and environmental awareness, creating a richer and more relevant learning experience. Pedagogical implications. Scholars such as William Spanos, Gert Biesta, and John Weaver have explored how post-humanist perspectives can reshape educational theory and curriculum, integrating concepts from cyborg theory, actor network theory, and feminist materialism. Post-humanist education challenges the traditional teacher-student dynamic, emphasizing interconnectedness, adaptability, and new modes of knowledge production. Gert Biesta and John Weaver have explored how post-humanist perspectives can reshape educational theory and curriculum, integrating concepts from cyborg theory, actor network theory, and feminist materialism. Post-humanist education challenges the traditional teacher-student dynamic, emphasizing interconnectedness and adaptability and new modes of knowledge education. Critique of humanism. Peter argues that traditional humanism functioned as a technology of domestication, using education, especially to reading, to tame human nature. However, this model is collapsing due to technological and societal changes. Post-humanism in education, specifically focusing on a critique of traditional humanism, it argues that traditional education focused on reading and classical idea was a way to domesticate people, making them conform to societal norms. However, this approach is becoming outdated due to technological and social shift. Essentially, it's saying that the old ways of learning aren't relevant in our modern tech driven world. Post humanist shift, Ottomanist thinkers propose moving beyond anthropocentrism and embracing a broader, more ecological perspective on education. This shift demands rethinking pedagogy in light of biopolitics, new media, and planetary challenges. Ottomanist thinkers want education to move past human centered view and consider the big picture, including our environment, education, and technology. Peter suggests that education is inherently a media technology, and its current crisis stems from the inadequacy of humanist communication models. He envisions a transition from self domestication to self cultivation as a post humanist framework. Peter says education as a type of media technology and it believes its current problem come from outdated ways of communicating. The crisis of humanism and literacy. Peter's response to Heidegger is seen as melodramatic, as it both critiques and continues humanism. The latter, writing Metaphor Representarians on literacy in humanist education, which is now challenged by new media technology. This shift from literacy to mediacy demands a rethinking of education in a post-humanist framework. Posthumanist framework or posthumanist education looks at how technology and the environment and politics are changing education. It questions traditional humanistic education. Defining critical humanist education, posthumanist education is not about rejecting humanism but rather rethinking it. It must incorporate ethical, ecological, political, technological, and epistemological perspective. The focus should move away from human exceptionalism to acknowledge non-human agency like animals, plants, and machines. Critical posthumanist education doesn't dismiss humanism but updates it. It asks us to consider ethical, environmental, political, and technological viewpoints. It also suggests we should look beyond human as the only important actors in the world and recognize the influence of things like animals, plants, and technology. Ecology as the core of post-humanist education. Education should embed environmental consciousness in every subject. It must address climate change, sustainability, and biodiversity as central concern. Animal studies challenge humanist education, speciesism, and call for recognizing non-human voices. Post-humanist education puts ecology first. It argues that environmental awareness should be part of all learning, focusing in issues like climate change and biodiversity. It political technological dimension. Technology shapes human identity and education must respond to the ethical dilemmas of biotechnology and digital media. Ziegler concept of pharmacology, technology is both a remedy and a poison. Education must guide its positive potential while mitigating toxic. The digital revolution challenges traditional schooling, requiring a definition of teaching, learning, and knowledge information. Post-humanist education recognizes technology's use impact a new aesthetic in education, integrate ethical, ecological, and political technological dimensions. Digitalization and globalization redefine learning. James and Series, digital media reshape cognition and interaction. Post-humanist pedagogy and it's connected to digital transformation in education. It argues that we need a new aesthetic in education that consider ethical, ecological, political, and technological factors. Essentially, it's saying that learning is changing because of digital tools and education needs to adapt to this new reality. New media literacy. Henry Jenkins' shift from access to participation and collaboration, while Howard Rheingold critical skills attentions, networking and digital literacy. Traditional humanist frameworks resist full digital integration. It highlights the shift from simply accessing information to actively participating and collaborating online. It's arguing that traditional education needs to adapt to the digital age gap and equip students with the skills to thrive in a world where technology is deeply integrated into how we learn and interact. The debate, digital media in education, it critiques fear of dubbing down and loss of deep reading. Proponents, cognitive evolution and enhanced learning methods. It highlights the opposing views of critics worrying about declining intellectual skills and the loss of deep reading abilities, while proponents argue that digital media can lead to cognitive evolution and better learning methods. Essentially, it acknowledges the ongoing discussion about the impact of technology on education and learning. Rethinking Education in a Digital Age, Catherine and Bernard Stiegler. In these slides, it discusses rethinking education in the digital age with a post-humanist framework. It represents two key ideas. In Catherine Hillis, three tiers of reading. It is close, hyper, and machine reading. It suggests that we need new ways to engage with text in a digital world. And while Bernard Stiegler argument that digital media can foster new forms of attention, not just distraction, and essentially it advocates for adapting educational approaches to recognize and leverage the unique cognitive opportunities presented by digital technology. The future of post-humanist education, beyond humanist compromises, embraced digital transformation. It moved past anthropocentric biases to tackle global challenges. Post-humanist education's future means fully embracing digital tools and moving beyond limited human-centered thinking. This approach is needed to effectively address the complex global issues we face today. Traditional education has its limit. We need a new way of teaching that includes post humanist ideas and deals with the effect of modern technology.